What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Divorced Aquarius. And today I want to teach y'all something that's been asked of me a lot, and that is roasting. Now, roasting is an art used by many people across the globe, but the most popular roasting preference is the ghetto roasting style. The ghetto style of roasting is quite unique as it is very versatile when defending yourself from verbal assault. If you don't know how to roast, then I'll teach you. Now, before we learn how to roast, you gotta learn the basics. When roasting someone, you have to look at all of their imperfections. Shut up, I know it sounds weird, but just stick with me. For example, look at this kid right here. What's something about him that is roast worthy? I'll give you a second. Now, if you've answered the way he's built, his shoes, that 2005 quote, or his teeth, you're already on the right track to having a successful roasting career. When you're about to engage in a roast session, it is best to see the first thing you find off about them and go on from there. When you're roasting, it's best to end every joke with head at, neck at, looking at, ugly, like just anything of that sort to get the most out of your jokes in the roast session. Also, it is a scientifically proven fact that if you roast at this table, the chances of your joke hitting will increase by 30%. Now that we've gotten a basic understanding of roasting, it is time to find out what type of roaster you are. Now I will describe the different type of roasters and I will let you know how you should utilize your roasting capabilities. First, we have the casual roaster. This roaster doesn't necessarily roast, and you won't really expect it if they do. As a matter of fact, this roaster almost never roasts. However, the casual roasters are kind of funny since their roasting agenda is unpredictable. My advice for this roaster is, actually, I really don't have any advice for this kind of roaster. They're just normal. Next, we have the active roaster. I myself identify as this type of roaster. The active roaster is always looking for someone to flame, and I mean always. You can literally be doing nothing, and the active roaster will appear out of nowhere and be like, "Boy, no, you thought this was it, huh? Now I got to get on this deformed suit." Like the active roaster doesn't really have a reason to roast, to be honest. They just personally enjoy flaming people. Now, if you're an active roaster, my advice to you is to be cautious with who you're roasting, because one of these days you may flame a Daryl, and the next thing you know, he pulling out a Mac 11 from his backpack, ready to end it all. Now that we've discussed the active roaster, let's move on to the lucky roaster. This roaster is really not funny at all whatsoever. It just so happens that they managed to make one funny joke that made the whole room laugh. I literally can't stand you roasters. Like when y'all get that one joke in, y'all start getting cocky like y'all won't get flamed by me. Like you better let me calm down. I almost got mad there for a second. But anyway, if you're this type of roaster, my suggestion is to get your delivery and charisma game straight, because let's face it, you're not funny and you were just a one joke wonder. So please work on your humor and come back and roast me when you feel confident enough. Now on to the retaliatory roaster. I myself am actually a mixture of the retaliatory and active roaster. The retaliatory roaster never roasts. This roaster usually minds their business and doesn't beef with anyone at all, and they prefer not to partake in any roasting activities. But when someone flames them, just know that they're coming back 2 times harder. Oh, pause. Retaliatory roasters are very unique because their quick thinking skills and their endless joke telling capabilities are unparalleled. If you're a retaliatory roaster, keep being one and flame whoever is bold enough to start a roast session with you. Now on to the Butthurt Roaster. If you're this type of roaster, I genuinely feel sorry for you. Butthurt roasters always talk the most trash but can never take what they dished out. The Butthurt Roaster is not fun to be around and will most likely kill the lunch table's vibe. If you don't identify yourself as this roaster, then avoid the BH roaster immediately. My advice to the Butthurt Roaster is to learn how to take a joke, lighten up, and just loosen your sense of humor. Nobody wants to be around a toddler. Now we have the on and off roaster. What do I mean by on and off? When I say that, I mean that this roaster has some good days, and then there are some days that their jokes don't hit as hard. I honestly can't describe this roaster well enough, but my advice is to stop trying so hard. That's probably the reason why your jokes don't hit sometimes. Don't overthink and just let your jokes flow and be random in order to have the biggest impact on your jokes. And speaking of random, let's talk about the unorthodox roaster. The unorthodox roaster is probably the funniest roaster on this list because their jokes literally make no sense and they're so dumb that it's funny. These roasters are the embodiment of creativity. It's literally impossible to be like the unorthodox roaster. My advice to you is to keep being creative with your roast and use it against people like the Butthurt Roasters to really get under their skin, or you can just be a comedian. Up next is the Smart Mouth Roaster. I truly despise these type of roasters because no matter what you say, they always got something to say and claim that they're spitting facts. These roasters rarely flame and only do it when someone has them pissed off. The only advantage to being a smart mouth roaster is the incapability of being roasted with pure ignorance. In order to roast these people, you have to be an intellectual of some sort in order to insult them. My advice to you SS roasters out there is just to shut up, like you piss me off. Last but not least, we have the Exposing roaster. This person can barely roast and only roast solely off of the unfortunate things that happen in your life. Not only that, but they'll also cap on you for the past mistakes as well. This roaster probably knows you on a personal level and you probably pissed them off to get them to this state. Warning, if you do not identify as this roaster, then please stay away from these type of roasters because 90% of these roasters have a punchable face. And to keep yourself from beating the brakes off this person, it's best to avoid them at all costs. Now, my advice to you exposing roasters is to mind your business, be considerate, quit being so sensitive, and look forward to getting exposed someday in the future because it will happen. If you reach the end of this video, then that's great because now I want you to take a good look at this picture and roast it to the best of your ability. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video.